First of all, I want to thank you for remaining, for sticking around, for not being among those who chose to unsubscribe, which I completely understand. People who wanted to just take a time out, peace out, if you will, for a few. I get it. But right now, we need as many people in the fight as we possibly can, people who are passionate and engaged and willing and ready to do the hard work ahead of us. And the reason that is the case is because of this very topic. Steve Bannon, a man who is emboldened in his diminished physical state after having apparently just withered for a few weeks in a minimum security prison in Danbury, Connecticut. Real hard time he did. Grinding it out in Danbury, where the white-collar criminals go. So emboldened that he's now leveling threats, not veiled threats. He's saying ridiculous shit like, the hunted have become the hunters. Leveling threats against prosecutors and attorneys general. Bold. Because now he has the power infrastructure of the incoming administration behind him. And he takes it a step further and starts leveling threats out of hand. He has no power. He has no ability to assign prosecutors to investigate anything. Although he kind of does, doesn't he? Because he's a shadow member of the administration now. Has the ear of Donald Trump. Certainly has the ability to influence the incoming Attorney General, Matt Gaetz. So I got two clips. One's him threatening, just flagrantly threatening actual law enforcement officers. And then the other, telling members, employees of MSNBC to lawyer up because you're going to start being investigated and prosecuted for the unnamed crimes, I guess. Watch this first clip where he says the hunted are now the hunters.
You step to the mic over here, Mr. Bannon, right here, Mr. Bannon. The microphone's right here. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
You talked to President Trump since the election.
The people rendered their verdict on all this lawfare on last Tuesday, 1 week ago. And like I have worked on for years and years and years, the whole country came together. Working class people all over came together, and they rejected what's going on in this court and what's going on with President Trump. The lawfare of Tish James and Alvin Bragg and Jack Smith and Merrick Garland has been rejected by a landslide by the American people. So the one thing I have to say to Merrick Garland, Lisa Monaco, Jack Smith, Tish James, Alvin Bragg, you wait. The hunted are about to become the hunters. Thank you very much.
Pretty ominous, is it not? That a private citizen, convict, freshly out of prison, would be leveling these kinds of threats. To Merrick Garland, the current seated Attorney General, head of the Department of Justice of these United States, Lisa Monaco, Jack Smith, Tish James, Alvin Bragg, you wait! The hunted are about to become the hunters. Not members of the Department of Justice, not the FBI, not actual law enforcement. Criminals is what he's saying. The hunted, the prosecuted for their crimes, they are about to, I am, he says, about to become the hunter. He broke the law. Let's line this out. This is pretty remarkable. He broke the law. Congress identified a crime, his contempt of Congress. They forwarded a criminal complaint to the Department of Justice, which said, we've looked at it. By the way, all of the forwarding of criminal complaints of contempt of Congress that got forwarded to the Justice Department didn't get followed up on. Some, they said, yeah, we're not going to follow. Mark Meadows, for instance, they didn't follow up on that one. They said, no. He was within his rights not to because of presidential privilege. They didn't find that with Steve Bannon. They brought it before a grand jury, a jury of his peers, a grand jury, which found there's enough information here, enough evidence here to issue a true bill, what it's called, to indict. Then it went to a full jury of his peers, 12 individuals who all heard the case, saw the evidence, and ruled guilty. He was found guilty of his crime, but that's lawfare. It wasn't that there was no jury, there was no judge, it was just a summary judgment. No, you broke the law. You were convicted of the crime. It went through the process of our Justice Department. It's not lawfare, dipshit. Didn't take him long to get into his studio, where now, this was yesterday, this clip you just watched was a couple days ago. This one is him in his studio leveling threats that he doesn't have the power to level against members of the media, the constitutionally protected free press, that they need to lawyer up because apparently the Constitution doesn't apply anymore relative to protecting them. The First Amendment is just a piece of toilet paper with which Steve Bannon wipes his substantial asshole with. Here's that.
The American people weighed and measured, and you were inundated for years. Weissman, you were on TV with MSNBC and all the producers of MSNBC. Preserve your documents. Ari Melbourne, all you hosts, preserve your documents. All of it. You better be worried. You better lawyer up. Some of you young producers better call mom and dad tonight. Hey, mom and dad, you know a good lawyer? Lawyer up. Lawyer up. You tried to destroy Trump. You tried to imprison Trump. You tried to break Trump. He's not breakable. You couldn't destroy him. And now he has turned on you, and he's put a firebrand in charge of Maine Justice, Department of Justice. And you're going to have to live with it. Andrew Weissman and all your McCabe and Comey. Oh, my Lord. You haven't heard me. I've never complained about this, never bitched and moaned about it. It just came with the territory. I understood they feared us. And why they fear us? Because we were coming to take down the globalists and the deep state.
Never complained about it, never bitched about it. That's all you do is run your fat, jolly mouth about it, you dipshit. And by the way, I'm going to continue to ask the question, what is it that was so difficult about his time in hard time in prison, in a minimum security white-collar prison, that he is so diminished? Did they just load him up with Ozempic and now he's got that hollow-eyed face? It was, what's happening here with the slurring of the speech? McCabe and Comey? Are we going back to 2016? If not for James Comey, we wouldn't have Donald Trump. Why are you going to punish him? He handed the presidency single-handedly to Donald Trump, stealing it from Hillary Clinton. Do we not remember the timeline of events? Steve Bannon, with your kitschy, weird mantle with all the religious symbology, iconography. You tried to destroy Donald Trump, try to destroy him. Look, I know elections have consequences, absolutely. We do live in a democracy. The people, the majority of voters have spoken, both the Electoral College and the popular vote. It's a nightmare unfolding before our eyes. But this is still a constitutional republic. The Constitution, in my mind, the document to which I swore an oath, still matters to me. And I still have the freedom of speech, as do journalists, as do employees, as private citizen, and in their capacity as members of the free press. My guess is they will not be intimidated. I will not be intimidated by these threats from this. If he wasn't a known quantity, if you didn't know who he was and you just saw this clip, you'd say, why is that guy in front of a fireplace in a townhouse on A Street Northeast, 2 blocks from the Capitol building? I think it's the 200 or 300 block, the Breitbart headquarters or whatever. Why is this guy not on a street corner, sitting on an apple box, screaming into the night about the only way to heaven is Jesus or whatever? Some crazy conspiracy theory about lizard people. Elections, they do have consequences, and if unfortunately this is a consequence. But there is still time to lay out your effort, to lay out your measure of protest and resistance against this. The worst people now have power. The worst people now have power. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can leave a comment below. I would invite you there. You can also leave me a voicemail on the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, as always, daily@dollemore.com. And if you appreciate what I do, if I bring you value enough to support this work financially, for $2 a month, you can click the join button below, become a channel member. You can also go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Follow me all across the internet on social media. I'm at Dollemore just about everywhere. And I'll see you next time. Maybe I'll be seeing Steve Bannon too. Should I also lawyer up Steve? Be genuine. Take care of one another.